anonymous author once said that women don't wither, but we blossom. And right here in our TV2 studios today, we have none other than a blossoming hibiscus, our very own native, Dr. Gail James, who is a renowned author, a healer, and a therapist that is here contributing back to our community. Dr. Gail, welcome to TV2 Studios One-on-One.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
I am so excited to having you because I know that you've been doing some really great work here in our community, and I wanted to share it with every single one of us. So welcome to TV2 One-on-One. Let's talk a little bit about in terms of what you've been doing. I see that we have book deals. I see that you're doing so much with our seniors. Let's talk a little bit and chat in terms about you. Who is this Dr. Gail? I mean, I know that you were born here, raised here. Let's let our audience know a little bit about Dr. Gail James.
Dr. Gail James was born here, yes, in the countryside of St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. Born and raised, had some trauma through my childhood, and that's what led me to do what I'm doing. I graduated out of Ivana Eudora Kent High School, Devil Rays.
Devil Ray, all right.
Devil Rays. So I graduated in 1990 and I left in 93. I came back a few times, but this is the first time that I've come back to do business. I gave birth to a little girl in 1990, 2 weeks before my high school graduation, and she was born with cerebral palsy. And so that led me to taking care of her, led me to the States and led me to explore healthcare and mental health.
So now let's talk a little bit about that. What was that experience like for you to deal with a child that had special needs, especially living here in the territory?
It was very difficult because I did not know what that diagnosis was. She would go to Puerto Rico every month, and she would go for her doctor visits. So one month, the gynecologist was sitting in for the pediatrician.
Wow.
And Abigail was at this time over 1 year old. And the doctor said, "Have you ever heard of cerebral palsy?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Your daughter is not sitting up. She's not holding her bottle. She's not crawling. She's not doing anything." And that was when I literally found out. She sent her for testing.
Wow. And I know that you and I both have had conversation with our First Lady, Yolanda Bryan, and we've really taken on the initiative of informing more parents and kind of putting together a dialogue in reference to creating a sense of awareness for those parents who have children with special needs. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, yes, speaking to our First Lady Bryan, yes. She did give me awareness of other parents in the community that have children with disabilities. So we've now formed a Parents of Children with Disabilities support group, and there are 5 of us in there right now, and we're strategically trying to start planning our meetings and what we can do to help each other, bring meeting minds together, so what I know I can give to them for support services, where they can get wheelchairs from, diapers and wipes from, that the family does not have to pay for. Because like my daughter, she's 32, but she's still in diapers.
Wow. And what was that experience like for you, caring to a child with special needs? Because that could be a little stressful and also financially hard. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, I did not, that's why I had to leave the Virgin Islands, because there was not much help here.
Okay.
So when I got to Florida, I did end up getting her on a MedWaver program. It's a program allocated to Medicaid, and they pay for everything. They pay for the wheelchair, they pay for the diapers, the wipes, everything, even hospital beds. And so it was very challenging as a caretaker, because your life is now her life. Because where she cannot go, where that wheelchair cannot go, you can't go.
Wow. And so how did this propel you to embark into your career path? Let's talk and touch base on that.
Well, I really started out wanting to do healthcare, because when I look at her and I see her in the wheelchair and I know what I don't want her to be in, wet diapers or anything like that, I started looking around and trying to see, okay, what can I do to be the change that people understand what these kids are going through and what their needs are. They're not, we want to treat them inclusively and treat them as other people, which is fine, but they have specific needs that needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
So what I did was I started a home health care agency in Florida. And then I came to the U.S. Virgin Islands and did the same thing. I started a PCA program here. It's a home health care agency for non-skilled services. I have that in St. Thomas and in St. Croix. And then I went ahead and got licensed as a skilled nursing home health care agency in St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. Shouldn't leave out St. John.
And what is the name of that agency? Let's talk a little bit about that, because that's important. Because
yeah.
we're all eventually going to get old. I mean, even though we try to hold on, a person like me tries to hold on for dear life, even though, you know, eventually we do, and we have parents that require elderly care. So what is the name of that agency?
The name of my agency is Heavenly Home Sweet Home Incorporated. God gave me that name, and I held on to it for their life. But I love what I do. What I do is making sure that our seniors and our disabled citizens in the community gets quality care, not just care, but quality care, that they are no longer left unattended, they are no longer left in wet diapers, they are no longer left without food. And so I love what we do, and I love my clients. I love my clients.
And I'm sure your clients love you as well. And obviously we all need those support services and systems to be in place to deliver that kind of attention to our seniors. The last census pretty much showed that there is a great increase in terms of the population among the seniors, and these type of services are greatly needed here in the Virgin Islands. So when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Heavenly Care, and we're going to talk about this great book that is out there just getting ready to just pop. It is called Designed, Determined, and Destined to Succeed. More one-on-one. Make sure you don't change that dial, because I'm coming for you. We're right here with Dr. Gail James, who is now pushing this initiative, making it happen right here in the Virgin Islands, one-on-one. Sierra Burke. Don't change that dial. We'll be right here.